As the world's premier basketball event, the NBA has maintained a relatively fixed competition format known to fans, consisting of preseason, regular season, playoffs, and the finals. However, in order to increase the excitement and competitiveness of the games, the NBA had previously proposed the concept of an in-season tournament. The league aimed to use this tournament as a means to boost fan engagement. On July 9, 2023, NBA Commissioner Silver officially announced that the league would introduce an in-season tournament starting from the 2023 to 2024 season. The performance in this tournament would be factored into the team's final regular season record. Commissioner Silver also revealed numerous regulations and guidelines regarding the in-season tournament. So, what impact will the establishment of the in-season tournament have on the NBA? With the introduction of the in-season tournament, will there be other changes to the subsequent competition format? In the existing structure of preseason, regular season, playoffs, and finals, the preseason serves as warm-up games for each team before the season begins. The outcomes of these games do not count towards the team's regular season record. The regular season, which typically runs from late October to mid-April, consists of a round-robin competition among the NBA's 30 teams, with each team playing 82 games. In total, there are 1,230 regular season games across the league. After the regular season concludes, the top 8 teams from each conference, Eastern and Western, based on their regular season records advance to the playoffs. The champions from the Eastern and Western conferences then compete in the finals for the NBA championship. Apart from occasional shortened seasons due to labor disputes or other unforeseen circumstances, the game schedule has generally remained consistent. However, the NBA League seems to have found this regular format increasingly monotonous. The All-Star Game, originally designed to attract global attention and alleviate fans' fatigue during the season, has gradually become a lackluster event, particularly the three-point contest. By introducing the in-season tournament, the league aims to inject more excitement and novelty into the season. It seeks to create a new competition within the season that captures fans' interest and adds additional stakes to the regular season games. Whether this change will ultimately prove successful or not remains to be seen. Nevertheless, it reflects the NBA's ongoing efforts to evolve and enhance the overall basketball experience for players and fans alike. The NBA is in need of a more intense competition format to enhance fans' viewing experience during the long season. The idea of an in-season tournament emerged as a solution. NBA Commissioner Silver first mentioned the concept of hosting an in-season tournament in 2019 and compared it to the format used in European football. It proposed adding a new form of competition unfamiliar to fans alongside the playoffs and regular season. Commissioner Silver himself mentioned in a recent media interview that this format had been brewing for 15 years. This idea sparked widespread discussions both inside and outside the league, with voices of support and opposition being heard. Over the next 3 to 4 years, the NBA conducted extensive discussions and multiple proposal revisions. The single elimination format of the in-season tournament was tested in the NCAA and WNBA. After several trials and experiments, this decision can be considered successfully implemented. Recently, the NBA and the Players' Union agreed on a new 7-year collective bargaining agreement. This marked a major change since CJ took office as the president of the Players' Union. These measures cover a wide range of areas, and one significant reform is the addition of the in-season tournament. According to the agreement between the league and the Players' Union, the NBA in-season tournament may make its debut in the 2023 to 2024 season. Now, let's take a closer look at what the NBA in-season tournament is all about. According to the specifics of the in-season tournament, the championship trophy for this competition is called the NBA Cup. It officially kicks off on November 3rd each year. The league's 30 teams are divided into 6 groups based on the Eastern and Western conferences, with each group consisting of 5 teams for the group stage matches. Each team plays 1 home game and 1 away game against the other 4 teams in their group, resulting in a total of 4 games. The specific groupings for the in-season tournament are as follows. Western Conference. Group A, Grizzlies, Suns, Lakers, Jazz, Trail Blazers. Group B, Nuggets, Clippers, Pelicans, Mavericks, Rockets. Group C, Kings, Warriors, Timberwolves, Thunder, Spurs. Eastern Conference. Group A, 76ers, Cavaliers, Hawks, Pacers, Pistons. Group B, Bucks, Knicks, Heat, Wizards, Hornets. Group C, Celtics, Nets, Raptors, Bulls, Magic. After 4 rounds of games, the top-ranked team in each group will advance to the knockout stage. The remaining 24 teams, including the top-ranked team from each conference based on regular season records, will join the 6 group winners as wild cards to form the final 8 teams for the knockout stage. The semifinals and championship game will take place in Las Vegas, USA, from December 7th to 9th. With Las Vegas playing such a prominent role, it's difficult not to associate it with previous rumors about the NBA's plan to establish a new team in the city. According to the rules announced, all games during the in-season tournament, except the finals, will count towards the regular season, meaning that only the two teams participating in the finals will play one additional game compared to other teams. The regular season for the new season will still consist of 82 games. Currently, all teams have only scheduled 80 regular season games, and the remaining 2 games will be determined after the in-season tournament. During the knockout stage, the league will make separate schedule arrangements for the remaining teams. Regarding the bonus aspect that players are generally concerned about, the implementation details have also been refined compared to the initial concept. Specifically, apart from the championship team, the other 8 teams in the top 8 will also receive corresponding bonuses. According to the details, each player on the championship team will receive a reward of $500,000. Each player on the runner-up team will receive a reward of $200,000. Players on the 3rd and 4th place teams will receive $100,000 each. Players on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th place teams will receive $50,000 each. After understanding the detailed rules, let's take a look at what impact the NBA in-season tournament may have on the league. Firstly, the in-season tournament optimizes the schedule and enhances the entertainment value of the games. The declining viewership of the NBA regular season in recent years is an undeniable fact. The 82-game regular season can sometimes fail to generate excitement among fans during certain periods. While the NBA has introduced events like the Christmas Day games and the All-Star game to make the season more enjoyable, the Christmas Day games are still regular season games, and the All-Star game often lacks the full commitment of players who may not be fully engaged in a game that doesn't affect their final standings. Additionally, the 2 months following the All-Star game see NBA teams entering a fatigued period. Competitive teams prepare for the playoffs and engage in load management for their star players, resulting in occasional absences for various reasons. Lottery teams, on the other hand, engage in deliberate tanking to secure higher draft picks. It can be said that this period, February to late April, is the least entertaining time for the NBA as a whole. During the period between the All-Star game and the playoffs, the attention of American basketball fans shifts to the NCAA college basketball tournament, known as March Madness. The NCAA tournament's enormous popularity and influence in American sports, second only to the Super Bowl in American football, is unparalleled. Now, the in-season tournament has the potential to become the March Madness of the NBA. With the introduction of the in-season tournament, the NBA regular season will have intense competition and elimination in the first half, with the champion being determined in December. Integrating the tournament with the regular season doesn't impose excessive pressure or burden on the players. Secondly, the establishment of the in-season tournament increases revenue. The most direct way for NBA teams and the league to generate economic benefits is through broadcasting rights and ticket sales. The single elimination format, with games decided in one match, brings the same level of excitement as a Game 7 in the playoffs. Such intense competition is bound to attract global fans' attention. Therefore, the broadcasting rights for the in-season tournament come at a substantial price. For major markets like the Warriors, Lakers, and Knicks, a playoff game generates ticket revenue of over $5 million. If a top-ranked team has home court advantage in the semifinals and has gone through multiple rounds of games leading up to the finals, it can still bring significant ticket revenue to each team. Additionally, players have a new opportunity to increase their income. Teams can establish win bonuses in players' contracts to motivate and reward them. At the same time, the championship bonus of $500,000 per player is attractive to most players, especially role players on minimum contracts. Furthermore, the in-season tournament gives more meaning to the regular season. The regular season used to be overly long, making it difficult for both strong and weak teams to remain fully focused and give their all in certain games during a season. The establishment of the NBA in-season tournament significantly reduces the occurrence of such games. For NBA teams, the in-season tournament serves as a midterm exam and a litmus test. It allows teams to assess and reflect their true strength, exposing gaps and potential issues when competing at a high intensity against other teams. Teams can then use the remaining regular season time to make adjustments and improvements through player trades and tactical preparations, getting ready for the playoffs. For players, their performance in the in-season tournament undoubtedly adds to their chances of being selected for the All-Star game or winning various end-of-season awards. For example, players like CJ, who have consistently scored over 20 points per game for 9 consecutive seasons but have never made an All-Star appearance, may view the in-season tournament as an opportunity to prove themselves on a global stage. Of course, the in-season tournament also serves as a platform for experimentation and reform. We can even boldly speculate that it is a pilot test for the elimination of the NBA playoff conferences. The elimination of conference divisions in the playoffs has always been a topic fervently discussed among NBA fans. In the tournament, the top team from each of the 3 groups in the East and West will enter the knockout stage. Additionally, the 2 teams with the next best records, just below the top 6 group winners, also qualify for the playoffs. If there is an imbalance in the proportions of the top 8 teams from the East and West conferences over several seasons, the elimination of playoff conferences may indeed be considered. For example, if the top 5 teams in the top 8 are all from the Western Conference, would the NBA consider reducing the number of play-in spots for the Eastern Conference in the end-of-season tournament? The emergence of the in-season tournament provides the NBA with a platform for more experimentation, which is beneficial for the league's continuous development in the future. Of course, there are also criticisms and doubts surrounding the in-season tournament. One major concern is the sudden increase in the intensity of the schedule, which raises the risk of player injuries. Starting from November, there will be high-intensity games throughout the season. The change in game rhythm and increased intensity can inadvertently increase the risk of player injuries. Some potential championship-contending teams might even have their fate in the playoffs affected. Another issue is that the tournament might become less significant. While the in-season tournament has a championship, it still pales in comparison to the NBA championship, and some teams might simply go through the motions to avoid injuries. This would significantly impact the excitement and prestige of the games. Nevertheless, the inaugural NBA in-season tournament is set to kick off on November 3rd in the new season. The win-or-go-home format will undoubtedly provide intense competition and thrilling moments. Will established powerhouses like the Lakers and Nuggets prevail, or will young teams like the Rockets and Magic make a splash with their youthful energy? Let's eagerly await and see.